Welcome back everyone to Mona's Take. I am your host Mona Rose, and we're here to talk about everything reality TV. Today's episode is going to be on the Big Brother live feeds and the veto ceremony. The house is flipping. We got some stuff going on. So stick around, we'll be right back. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. So can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Alright, yesterday morning, as soon as Amir and Nicole woke up, they started talking game. I mean, they hadn't even got out of their beds yet. They talk about the guys. They say that the guys are going to have to start taking out the girls, and the girls are going to have to start taking out the guys. That's the way it's going to be. It's going to go back and forth. They're talking about Monty and Joseph, and she's like, it sucks that they're a pair. I'm closer to Joseph than I am Monty. I'd like to keep them around, but if we F that up, we're screwed. We're done for. So Amira realizes that she needs those two to keep pulling them in to go further in the game. Little does she know she's already messed that up, that she's already been outed, and that her day is coming. And they talk about Joseph getting HOH, and they said that if he gets HOH, that they're not sure that he's going to be able to make any sound decisions. That he is an emotional player, and that he's probably not going to put up one of the guys. That she doesn't see any way that they can convince him to do that. Nicole says that they need to start prying into Monty and Joseph's lives because they don't believe that they're both personal trainers. We know Joseph is not a personal trainer. He's an attorney, but he's not letting that be known in the house. I don't remember off the top of my head what Monty does. I think he may be own a gym or something like that. But they're discussing that, and they're saying we need to start talking to them. We need to start asking questions. We need to see where they're at. Nicole is convinced that Joseph is a cop, which is hilarious because she's an ex-cop and not telling anybody that. But she tells Amira that she thinks he's a cop because of the way he talks and the way he holds himself and all of that. So they need to get to the bottom of it, and they need to figure out what exactly Monty and Joseph do for a living. And right after that, you see Monty in the HOH room. Nicole goes up there, and she starts just grilling him, picking his brain. And Michael was in the room when Amira and Nicole were talking about this. So Michael had already told Monty, be careful, because they're going to start asking you questions and trying to figure out what it is that you do for a living because they don't believe you. So he already knew that. So Nicole's grilling him, trying to find out what he actually does for a living. Which I don't understand why that matters. You're there to play a game. If you've already got money and you win more, so what? It's not based on who needs it more. It's based on who's the best gameplay. Or in some cases, who production wants to win. But that's another story. And I've watched a lot of different people doing these videos on Big Brother, and they say, you know, we're not biased, we're not for one side or the other, we're just reporting. That's our job. That's not my job. That's why this is called Mona's Take. It's because it's how I feel about what I'm watching, what I'm seeing, and what I think is going to happen. So I hope you guys appreciate that. Taylor is playing it up. She is acting defeated. It's Sunday. She won't get out of her bed. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she's been in her bed all day. At one point, she's got her sunglasses on, and she's laying there, and a mirror comes through, and it says, you really need to come out to the pool. Come join us. We have the outside. Da-da-da-da. You don't need to be in here by yourself. Come join us. And Taylor's like, oh, I'll be out in a little bit. I'm just kind of reflecting or whatever. And Amira walks off, and Taylor takes her sunglasses off and rolls her eyes. So she's playing it up good. She's playing like she's going home, that she's just plumb defeated right now. The eviction episode wasn't much. I thought that we would see Pooch lose his mind, that there'd be some words. Nothing. To me, the first hour of the episode was just horrible, boring. And if I never see another montage of Nicole and, Kyle and Alyssa again, I'll be happy. I like Kyle, but that's just, give us some good stuff. Don't give us the fluff. They're giving you the fluff. If you watch the live feeds, you know what's going on. Or if you watch me, you know what's going on, because I pretty much fill you in on everything that I think is important. The HOH thing, whatever, we already knew that. We knew who the pairs were. To me, it was just a nothing episode. They could have showed us some of the drama that was going on in the house. I'd have been more happier. Okay, so let's back to the live feeds. Nicole and Taylor talk. Finally. Taylor starts out apologizing to Nicole and says, intention and perception are two different things. My intention was to check on you, to console you, to let you know that I'm here for you. How you perceived it was not that. And I apologize for that. I should have worded it better or whatever, but I was truly concerned for you and your well-being as a human being, not as a game player, as a human being. Nicole's still playing it off that she didn't know that Daniel was going to go off like that, and that was not her intention, and just still playing it off that it was all Daniel. She tells Taylor that she needs to be more aware of her words and how they're said and how they affect other people. I wanted to choke her, be honest. Nicole tells Taylor that their relationship is going to be strictly business from there on out, that she doesn't have any animosity to her and she forgives her or whatever, but it's going to be strictly business. And Taylor says, I wasn't trying. Nicole talks about not needing permission, not needing an out, that people that she surrounds herself with in life don't give her an excuse for an out, that you push forward and you work through it and you do what you need to do. And Taylor said, just to be for the record, I wasn't giving you permission to quit. She said, I was trying to give you support. And Nicole said, well, I wish it would have come across that way. Nothing Taylor does is going to come across the way that Taylor intends, because they're looking for every little thing to nitpick. Taylor asked Nicole if she held her responsible for Paloma's mental breakdown. And Nicole said, do I? No, I don't, but I have a different relationship with you than most of the other house guests had in week 1. So I don't see it, but others may. Head games. A little while later, Daniel is seen in his bedroom. Everybody else is in the kitchen, laughing, cutting up, having a good time. And he's seen in his bed, and he's shaking his head and complaining to the cameras. And he's like, oh my God, she won't quit complaining about being on slop. I'm so tired of hearing it. And then he says, watch out, Andy, because your privilege is showing through clear. I really hate that I picked him and Nicole to start with to win this thing, because I really dislike them as people. And people always say, well, it's a game. That's true, but you see on the live feeds what these people are really like. You see their personalities. You can see if they're a good person or if they're a not so good person. Joseph, he's brutally honest, and he's as sweet as it can be, and he honestly wants the best for everyone. And he doesn't even get any screen time on the show, because they've got their picks, like Jasmine and her fake ass southern accent that just drives me crazy. If you watch her on the feeds, she does not talk like that at all. And production is telling her, oh, play up on that, play up on that. Jasmine, you sound like an idiot. You do. That's not how we talk in the South. Amira and Jasmine join Daniel and Nicole, and they are just ripping on Indy. They're complaining about Indy. Everything she does is wrong. That she made Alyssa wash towels with her laundry, and that she's just so bossy and she's complaining and she's this and she's that. So I guess since they think that Taylor's going home on Thursday with an 11-0 vote, they need to start working on their new target, which is going to be Indy. Nicole and Amira continue to talk about Indy, and Nicole's like, she's got to go. And Amira said, yes, she's got to go. She will be the next one to leave this house. The guys that are in the post-pack alliance, which are Michael, Monty, and Kyle, they decide that they need to tell the leftovers about this alliance and that they were a part of it in the beginning, because they feel like that once Amira's on the block that she's going to start slinging as much mud as she can, which she will. That's just who she is. So Michael has got Brittany up in the have-not room, and they're talking, and he fills her in on that. And she fills him in on the Girls Alliance and said, I was originally in it, but they never really included me. It was just a number. They talk about Jasmine milking her foot injury and how everybody's going to get tired of waiting. Brittany said everybody's going to get tired of waiting on her hand and foot. And Michael said, I'm already tired of it. It's like, get me this, do that, do that. And they're like, we're over it. And Jasmine's actually using that, saying that she shouldn't be a have-not. They were outside talking. And Jasmine was saying that Michael and Brittany would probably be the have-nots for next week. And somebody said, well, why not you and Turner? Because y'all haven't been have-nots. And she's like, no, that won't happen. With my foot, I don't have any way to sleep or prop it up or any of that. They're not going to do that. Girl, please. She's going to be one to break the rules. Everybody else so far on Slop has done well. They've made it through the week. They've done their thing. I don't think Jasmine's going to be able to, because every time you see her on the live feeds, she's eating something. Whether it be chips or Fruit Loops or crackers or candy or whatever it is, she's constantly, as she's talking, eating. And she may be a nervous eater because she's always eating. So I think she's going to have a problem on Slop. They start talking, I'm sorry, where was I at? So Alyssa and Jasmine start talking about the guys, and they need to keep the right ones versus the wrong ones. Who they want to get out pre-jury, who they want to get out jury, and who they want to keep in the end, keep in the game till the end. The good ones that they want to keep in are Daniel, Kyle, and Michael. So all the other guys are expendable. Taylor and Michael talk, and she fills him in on her convo with Nicole, and some of the other convo where everyone is saying the same exact thing. Everyone she talks to is saying, well, it's just how you say stuff. Sometimes you come across wrong. If one or two people had said that, that's fine, but everybody that she talks to say those same exact words in that order, like it's a script. This is the script we're given for Taylor, and this is what we're all using. And she's starting to notice it. Michael's doing laundry, and he goes to put his laundry up, and it's in the bubble room. And Daniel's in there, and Amir's in there, and they're talking. And Michael said, or Amir said, y'all talking game? And Michael's like, no, I'm folding my laundry. And Michael said, I just feel like that when we have the backyard, that it's such a chill day. Like, there's not a lot of game talk, nothing like that. We're just all chill. And Amira said, well, of course, we're really chill this week because everybody knows what's going to happen. Everybody's on the same page. It's going to be an 11-0 vote to get Taylor out. So there's nothing to talk about. We're all good. And then she puts her hands together and she goes, but next week, game on. So she's already scheming for the next week. I find it hilarious that she thinks that Taylor's going out on an 11-0 vote. There may be 11-0 vote, doubt it, but it's going to be against Amira. It's not going to be against Taylor. Taylor is safe this week. And I also find it hilarious that Amira told Taylor in their little talk that she needed to really do well with her exit interviews this week. At this point, Taylor wasn't on the block yet. And then, oh my God, I'm listening to Daniel and Nicole. And they're talking about Indy. And they're talking about Indy being jealous of Nicole. And Daniel said that's because she's older, she's not that attractive, and doesn't know how to play the game. Let me say that again. Because she's older, not attractive, and doesn't know how to play the game. Daniel, you are an ass. I'm sorry. I have no other word for him but that. And if I could remember it, that's what I would call him the rest of these videos. As long as he's in the house. Nicole says that Indy and Brittany need to go. I can't wait to see the after effect when the feeds come back on today. I cannot wait to see that house erupt. And it is going to. Daniel says that, he's talking to Nicole and he's like, I swear to God, if Brittany says anything about you once you're on the block, I'm going to lose my mind. Well, you've already lost it on Taylor. Why not lose it on the other women in the house? Because you sure aren't going to do that with the men. Coward. Yeah, I have a little bit of animosity towards him now since I've seen how he's talking about all these girls. Told you the tide was turning. The leftovers are taking over. The veto ceremony was not supposed to be until later on this afternoon. But the guys came up with a plan last night. And Turner called Daniel into the HOH room and told him, he said, man, I've had person after person after person come in here talking about Taylor, saying the nastiest, hateful stuff. And she's laying in her bed. She's so defeated. She's had a horrible time in this house. She's been on the block 2 out of the 3 weeks. And I just can't put her on the block. I can't add to that. I don't want her to have a bad experience in this house. And he's like, you know, I worry about people's mental health. And I just don't want to keep piling stuff on Taylor. I don't think it's fair. So I will not be putting Taylor on the block. As soon as that came out of his mouth and Daniel thanked him for the heads up, they cut the feeds. There's 2 reasons that they do this. Number 1, this is the plan the guys came up with last night. To see Daniel goes and spreads it to the girls, which is what they think is happening. So they want to test him and see if he's the snake, if he's the one feeding the information to the girls from the guys. And number 2, so that there's no hint of this new leftover alliance. They can all act surprised, because he tells Daniel, you're the only person I'm telling this to. I'm not telling the rest of the house, because I don't want to hear it. My mind's made up. But I like you, and I wanted to give you a heads up. So that everybody in the alliance can still act dumb. They can act surprised. They're not going to be the wrath of Amira this week. They can have plausible deniability. So this was a very calculated move on the guy's part last night. And I think it's going to work. And as soon as I cut the feeds, Turner is called to protection. Like I said, production is worried about how the house is going to react once Amira goes on the block. They have actually called in extra security guards because they're afraid what these house guys are going to do. You only got 6 of them that are not in on this plan. So you have Amira, yeah, she might flip out. You have Nicole, yeah, she might flip out. You have Daniel, he might flip out. Terrence, he's going to be chill. Indy, she's going to be chill. Jasmine, she's going to be chill. She ain't flipping out on nobody. So the only 3 they're really worried about would have to be Daniel, Nicole, and Amira. Amira is on the block. Yes. I am so excited, guys. I am so excited. I want to see her face when those feeds come back on. I did get my info from Spoiler King, so the feeds are not yet back on, but he says it is done, that Amira is on the block. So I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. I am going to get off here. I'm going to edit this video, get it up and going, and I'm going to get back to the live feeds. Hopefully they'll be back on soon. But tell me what you think in the comments, guys. I'm not hearing a lot of feedback. Tell me what you think of the show. Who are you pulling for? Am I off base? Am I on base? Let me know. And remember, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I have coming up. Have a great day, and as always, guys, much love.